If you refuse, there will be severe repercussions. But what makes you think you have a choice?
Sam, it's Charlie. Another request is ready for you. You'll find it listed as a main order on the DHV Magellan's delivery terminal.
Good morning, Sam. kill someone? If we don't do something about the body, it'll spawn a BT, which could eventually trigger a void out. Let's take it to the nearest distribution center within the Chiral network for proper disposal.
Remember to rest, Sam.
River's rising, Sam. We mustn't underestimate the potential risks here. Feeling well rested? Good morning, sir.
Departing facility.
So you know, Sam, Fragile is currently looking into Lou. Meanwhile, Tarman is conducting a separate investigation into the giant mech that attacked you earlier. For now, we would like you to focus on extending the network. That is a task only you can handle. As the network grows in size, we will have much more information at our disposal to further our efforts. That said, you won't be able to proceed until the situation at West Fort Knott has been resolved. It appears that they're in dire need of additional supplies, to the point that they don't even have enough to prepare cargo for your next destination. This next order is intended to alleviate the situation. You're to restore the mine north of F1 and its monorail station to working order and link up West Fort Knott. After which, you'll deliver a large quantity of excavated materials from the mine to the settlement by rail. As this is a somewhat complicated order, I'll brief you on the details as you review the map. Anyway, I'd appreciate it if you could make this main order your top priority. All right, Sam. You'll need to work through several steps to complete this order. To begin with, collect the cache of materials waiting for you on the DHV Magellan. Take these to the mine north of F1. The location has been marked for you on your map. And when you arrive there, submit the materials using the terminal on site. This will allow you to restore the facility to working order. Next, access the terminal again to commence mining operations. If all goes well, a large quantity of materials should be extracted. You'll then need to deliver those materials to West Fort Knott. Consider making use of the monorail located at the mine to make life easier. Upon your arrival at F1, use the delivery terminal to submit all the materials for processing and to finally complete the order. That's all there is to it. So begin plotting your route to the mine north of F1. You can use a tri-cruiser to transport them. These carriers, and when you're not using the carrier for cargo, you can hop aboard. And just remember that floating carriers require chiral crystals.
another porter here. Since you brought this site onto the chiral network, perhaps they thought they could make use of the additional data to make a safe run. Another porter here. Since you brought this site onto the chiral network, perhaps they thought they could make use of the additional data to make a safe run. To go and say hello?
Good evening, Sam. Drawbridge credentials verified. Welcome, Sam.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised that usage is restricted inside facility grounds.
Chiral decontamination in progress. No anomalies detected. Welcome, Sam.
Well done, Sam. I've never seen a working monorail before. Think of all the stuff it could carry. All right then, why don't we extract some materials? Very good, Sam. Now all you have to do is...
Now entering chiral network coverage.
Feels good.
Did you actually manage to restore the monorail? Awesome! With it back up and running, you'll be able to transport materials from the mines. Right. Sorry. Let's take a look at these materials you brought. Would you look at all this? I think it's safe to say we'll have nothing to worry about for a while. Found some of our missing stuff, did you? We've made some great strides in our research thanks to you. If it's alright, we'd like you to have this. Just wanted to let you know that we're increasing the amount...
Now displaying your current porter grade.
Oh, here's a little... I got them just for... They sure weren't easy to come by. We really, at the risk of stating the obvious, it's going to take an awful lot of resources to restore the other roads and monorails to working order. But, at least with this monorail operational, you can bring us large shipments of materials with relatively minimal effort. That's going to go a long way towards getting other sections up and running again. We can fabricate pickup off-roaders now, by the way. I'm pretty fond of them myself. It's a large four-wheel drive vehicle, boasts significant cargo carrying capacity for the hard-working porter. The driver's seat is in an elevated position and exposed by design. This allows the driver to survey their surroundings more easily and engage enemies with small arms if necessary. You can customize it quite a bit too, attach all kinds of different parts as you like. That said, a lot of parts are still in development, but you'll receive their data as soon as it's ready. The schematics for this vehicle have already been shared with everyone on the chiral network, which means that we can look forward to other people drafting even more new parts. Sure, the monorail network was extensive and once stretched across a good chunk of Australia's coastline. But repeated exposure to timefall has seen it degrade significantly. And with the constant threat of BTs and armed groups, it's not been possible to repair the damage. If you happen to come across a track layer, be sure to feed it any materials you can spare. Even a small contribution will make a difference. Anyway, just something to think about. We're so grateful for the assistance, Sam. You've been a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day.
You managed to save the day, Sam. The people here now have more than enough supplies for their needs. They should be able to prepare cargo for the next delivery too. But first, I have some information to share with you. About Lou. Return to the DHV Magellan so we can talk.
Order completed. Well done. That's the spirit. I will always support you.
Hey, Sam. How's it going? I have updates for you, if you have time.
I take it you've learned more about Lou?
We followed up on the message Deadman left for you at the lab. About how there was another BB-28, not Lou, who, according to the records, was decommissioned 4 years ago. The first time you and Lou met was about 2 years ago now, when you were entrusted with a BB previously issued to Bridges Corp's disposal. And together, the two of you made it all the way across North America.
Deadman and everyone else at Bridges, they all called Lou BB-28.
Right. Because that was Lou's serial number. You see, We found the records for the BB storage facility. By cross-referencing the data, we confirmed that after BB-28 was decommissioned 4 years ago, Lou was assigned the same designation and placed into storage.
So what you're telling me is that instead of getting a new serial number, Lou inherited an old one?
As for Lou's mother, following the C-section, it seems she passed away. And that pretty much is the extent of our recent discoveries. Without a still mother to provide support, it makes sense that Lou was kept in reserve. But we still have no idea who approved the serial number reassignment, much less why they did it.
Higgs said there were things I didn't know. Maybe this is what he was talking about.
I think it could be.
I want to know everything about Lou.
You're playing his game, Sam. Chasing after the past is what Higgs wants you to do.
I need to know where Lou came from. I have to know.
If you're sure, Sam, I'll keep digging. In the meantime, you should get plenty of rest before your next mission.
Seems Tarman decided to leave a few books for you. Right there, by your bed. Reading is a wonderful way to take your mind off things. Trust me. That's Tarman's son. He must have placed a photograph in here for safekeeping. This is an important memento. Why don't we go and take it to him?
I found this picture in your book. Is this your son?
Thank you. Yes. He's still out there somewhere, borne along on the currents, with this right hand of mine. It's due to my connection with said missing piece that I can read the movements of the tar. Something akin to a phantom pain. You want to hear the story?
Sure.
I was both a medical doctor and a geophysics researcher once upon a time. In those days, the tar currents were a key focus of mine. This ship was originally built to facilitate my studies, in fact. The deep tar hunting vessel Magellan, we named her. A ship perfectly suited to pursuing the creatures that thrive in the tar's depths. Another avenue of research, you might say. We called them chiral mammals, for lack of a better name. Seemed like the closest fit. Reckoned if we caught one, we could figure out all the mysteries. The tar, the tides, hell, maybe even the stranding.
Whoa, she's a big one.
Strip yourself in, son.
Tar's looking calm. I'll be fine, Pop. You seeing this? I think she's pregnant. Hey, Pop. This is weird.
Stop! And just like that, the tar took my boy, and my hand along with him. At first, I thought this little guy was my son reborn.
If I may ask a question, the hunters that attacked you after you got the chiral mammal, are you sure they came from within the creature's womb?
Yes. That said, I'm not of the opinion that the hunters were its offspring.
Its womb merely served as a gateway to the other side.
Indeed. The tar and the beach are connected.
Moby Dick, or The Whale, seems to be one of Tarman's favorite novels. As the name suggests, it's a story about a white sperm whale named Moby Dick. Captain Ahab, one of the main characters, uses a prosthetic leg made of whalebone to replace the one Moby Dick took long ago. He's obsessed with getting revenge against the whale, which he hates with a terrible passion, all while nursing the phantom pain of his lost leg. In the end, Ahab fails to exact vengeance on his foe and is dragged into the sea. His crew's only survivor is Ishmael, the book's narrator. He was rescued after clinging desperately to a coffin-shaped life buoy. That's right, a coffin was his savior. Ironic, isn't it? How you use a thing makes all the difference. On a dark night in May 1816, 3 men and 2 women found themselves confined to a villa on the shore of Lake Geneva. A catastrophic volcanic eruption had wrought havoc on the global climate, and a relentless rain hammered down outside. With little else to do, the occupants of the villa decided to compose ghost stories. And it was on this fateful night that a woman named Mary penned what would become Frankenstein. Mary, who was only 18 years of age, had already lived a tumultuous life. She was engaged in an affair with the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley at the time, whom she would later go on to marry. A dramatic retelling of these events was committed to film prior to the Death Stranding. Titled Mary Shelley, it stars Elle Fanning in the lead role. Now, where have I heard that name before? The Pequot. His crew includes Dutchmen, Frenchmen, Spaniards, Portuguese, Icelanders, as well as shipmates from China and India. Countless other people of myriad origins, too. It is arguably symbolic of the multiracial United States. A gathering of souls that transcends ethnic and national divisions, united in pursuit of a singular goal. I can't help but be reminded of Kojima Productions. Wait, judging by your reaction, you've never heard of Kojima Productions? Sam, you can't be serious. The gathering of storytellers that spawned Mary Shelley's Frankenstein gave rise to yet another legendary creature of horror fiction. I speak, of course, of the vampire. A physician named Polidori was also in attendance that evening, and he later unveiled his creation in a new novel. As I may have mentioned before, the summer of that year was unusually cold. In Europe alone, 200,000 people are said to have perished as a result. Could it be that a widespread fear that the world might be coming to an end served as inspiration for 2 classic monsters? I find it a compelling theory. Certain parallels can be drawn between Captain Ahab's pursuit and the Prometheus myth. Prometheus is a deity said to have stolen fire from the heavens in order to give it to humans. In essence, he bestowed upon them the power of the gods themselves. This power manifested as technology. Humans crafted tools, and with them brought nature to heal and built great civilizations. Perhaps the author intended to frame Ahab's pursuit of the white whale as one akin to mankind's struggle against the forces of nature. We ourselves are arguably living out our own Prometheus myth as we fight to overcome the Death Stranding. No, we definitely are. And we're not about to lose. It should be noted that the monster's name is not Frankenstein, nor was it ever given a proper name. Frankenstein is the name of its creator and the story's protagonist, Victor Frankenstein. Through its many movie adaptations, the image of the disturbing and unstable patchwork creature has grown ever more vivid. And in the process, the misconception that it was called Frankenstein was born. In the original novel, however, it was an intelligent, human-like being that craved acceptance. A clever, gentle giant cobbled together from others, not unlike our dead man, don't you think? And while he doesn't appear in Shelley's original work, in several movies, Frankenstein is joined by a rather memorable assistant named Igor. Igor and Victor. Now, where have I heard those two names before?